Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. Today we are going to talk about getting clear, getting the clarity that you need so that you can heal yourself. I'm Lisa and I help people take their health into their own hands and heal themselves from chronic illness and chronic disease, whether it's mental or physical or emotional. If that's something that you would be interested in, then like this video and subscribe below. Getting clear. Getting clarity on how you can heal yourself. One of the biggest things that we do as a society is we have hundreds and thousands of inputs coming towards us all day long. Whether it is scrolling on our iPhone, whether it is watching TV, whether it's news, whether it's your work, your to-do list, your children, your relationships, we are full. And we pride ourselves on multitasking, right? We usually have 2 or 3 or 4 things going on at a time. Our brain is often in overdrive, overactive. And when it's not in the process of action and doing something and being something or learning something or having inputs thrown at it, it is usually having conversations in its own mind. It's pre-planning the future, worrying about the future, thinking about the past, grieving about the past. There's all kinds of things. Rarely is our mind still. So a lot of people use journaling as a technique to unburden all these trapped emotions, these feelings that literally don't even have time to be felt, recognized, or integrated because we're too busy living our lives and trying to get through this maze of information and inputs that are being thrown at us all day long. So often it's not even a conscious repressing, like, oh, I have this huge thing that I'm repressing, but we're in go mode, we're in action mode most of our life. And so we rarely have the time to reflect on something that's bothering us, an emotion that's being felt, something that needs to be integrated, right? A past feeling or a trauma or an event or a future worry. We push through these things and we just continue to scroll and continue to go down our to-do list and do our jobs and look at social media and listen to the radio and the TV and all these inputs coming at us, right? So often it may not be a huge trauma that you're repressing, but you're repressing your everyday emotions and feelings. You're repressing all your thoughts and emotions because you don't have time for them. When's the last time that you had time for yourself? 2 to 3 hours in a row with no inputs, no TV, no podcasts, no YouTube, no Facebook, no scrolling, no dishes to do, no cooking to do, no cleaning to do, no relationship or person to speak to. When is the last time that you had 2 to 3 hours in a row just to listen, to meditate, to reflect on your own inner emotions and feelings and be able to actually sense what it is that's going on, what it is that you want, where you want your life to go, what it is that you even feel? Sometimes we're so caught up in our own lives, we don't even know if these are the lives we want. We don't have time. We're in go mode. We haven't had the time to sit and reflect. What is it that I want out of this life, out of this relationship, right? And sometimes these feelings are scary. These emotions are scary because they're in direct conflict with what we actually do have or what's actually going on. And if we have to feel the angst of that, right? The oh no feeling, like, where am I? How did I get here? And how am I going to do the work to change it? It's sometimes easier to just let these inputs come at us and to just continue on in the maze, in the haze. So if you answered no to when the last time you've had 2 to 3 hours to just sit in quiet reflection, then you definitely need to get this into your life. So if you don't currently journal or you don't currently meditate, you don't have a way to sit down and dump what's in you out or to look at it, to evaluate it. to reflect on it and to process it and to integrate it. These are the reasons why inner work is so important and mind body work is so important. Because inner work, no matter what kind of work you're doing, is often trying to take things that were repressed down in our subconscious and we're healing them and integrating them back into our lives. But even if it's not a serious trauma that you need to go back and do past work, you do need to have reflection. So my suggestion is that you do a process. It's not quite meditation and it's not quite journaling, and this is how I like to do it. So if you're ready, grab a pen and a paper. Grab a soft spot, a quiet space where you're alone and you can reflect. Once you do those two things, we are going to get into the process. One of the purposes of setting aside this time to meditate and to journal and to really get quiet and reflect is not only to let up these emotions and these negative feelings and repressed lower vibrational states like regrets and fears and worries and angers and hurts. It's not only to do this time, but it's also to sit in neutrality for a while. When's the last time you felt neutral? You just let all the inputs go away. And that's what meditation is, right? When we empty all the thoughts out of our brain, we just are trying to get ourselves to a space of neutrality where we don't have inputs coming in, where we just can be, just breathe, just have the space in the room to have nothing on our shoulders, nothing on our plates, no worries, no things to do, just time to just sit and breathe and take it off your shoulders, right? A lot of times people, when they meditate, they get too caught up in doing meditation right. And there's too many rules around meditation. And, oh no, there's a thought in my head and I have to get rid of it. And meditation becomes work. It becomes another thing to do and to get right and that we're doing wrong. And by the time you're done the meditation, you're exhausted from trying to do it right. So I say the point of meditation is to get into that state of neutrality where there is nothing weighing on you. You empty the thoughts. You don't have to worry about doing it right. It's just to give you that breathing space, that room to be free of everything that is weighing you down, all the inputs that are coming at you. So when we look at meditation this way, it's not only when we start to reflect and when we start to sit with and we start to hear our own inner voice, we may hear all the negative states, all those worries, all those anxieties, all those things that we've been repressing because we don't want to listen to and we don't want to face and they're difficult. But we may also start to reflect on inspiring things. What inspires us? What ideas do we have for our life? What little nuggets of good and gratitude? Or, we don't have to force these things, but when we're in flow and the purpose isn't to heal our past, sometimes when we just take everything off our plates, we get these moments of inspiration, these flashes of ideas, and we solve problems easily. We can see quickly and easily about problems, right? It's into this flow state, this amazing flow state that a lot of people talk about getting into, where artists and writers and people who are professional at sports, they get into these flow states, right? Where they're creating, they're creative, they have ideas and inspirations. And you never get a chance to feel these either because you just don't empty yourself. So what I like to do is have this little session, and there's no rules on getting meditation right. There's no rules on whether we're going to go into our past hurts. There's no rules whether we're going to plan or see some future inspirations come our way. It's just to give ourselves the space and the time to reflect and process our true thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, right? Whatever comes our way. Okay, so if you have a pen and a paper, It's simply this. You get yourself to this quiet space, this quiet room. It could be on a couch, it could be on a bed, it could be on a yoga mat on the floor. And you want to get yourself into a quiet meditation. So you don't want people around, and you want to give yourself time. And by time, I don't mean 20 minutes or a half an hour. Like an hour is probably minimum to really take it off. Take those inputs out of your life and give yourself time. We're getting clear here. This is giving you mental clarity on things that you don't want, things that are weighing you down, guilts, regrets, pains, angers, emotions, things that are weighing you and not serving you to hold on to. You're going to see these things and feel these things clearly. You're also going to get clear on what you do want, sometimes by process of what you don't want. Sometimes you're going to get sparks of inspiration. Sometimes you're just going to get little ideas. This is what I want you to do. I want you to sit, and I want you to go back and forth in 10-minute increments. You can set a timer when you begin. And this is really helpful for people who are just beginning this process. But as you get good at it, I want you to take even that rule off your plate and just kind of go at it freestyle. But in the beginning, let's use the 10-minute rule here. You'd sit in meditation, quiet, silent meditation, breathing, taking everything off your plate, just all those inputs, letting them go. And you just listen. You listen. You don't try to empty. You don't try to stop the thoughts from coming. You just listen to what's there. Then when that timer goes off, you do a 10-minute free writing. This is writing about anything that you're thinking, thoughts, anything that comes up. There's no rules. There's no right or wrong. You can be as expressive as you need to. Go as deep as you need to in these writings. Just free write without stopping. The only rule is without stopping. Just write and free write. Then the timer goes off. You go back into a meditation for 10 minutes. You stop. You journal for 10 minutes. Meditate, journal, meditate, journal. And the purpose of this going back and forth is that we're listening, we're reflecting, and then we're processing. Well, as we're writing, we're discovering, we're processing, we're listening, we're reflecting, we're discovering. These are important things that go hand in hand, and the journaling really helps, help us to get clarity. But if we don't stop and listen and stop all the inputs, that's what the meditation does, is we just need to listen. We need to let go. We need to just see what comes up. And then we write, and then we go back and we listen, we reflect, we discover. And sort of this hand-in-hand process that goes back and forth, this nice little marriage as, there's no right or wrong. You may get an emotion or a feeling or an anger that then you express and you free write, and you're just writing swear words and you're really going at it on the page. Or you might have this interesting idea about a menu you want to serve or something non-related, but you write it down. You write everything down. You sort of go back and forth. Inspiration, worries, griefs. Maybe you're in flow state. You have all these wonderful creative ideas. You can see insights. Maybe you're solving problems. There's all these things, but you just sort of meditate and write. And when I say you go back and forth 10 minutes, you can also do this where you just meditate. And every so often when you have a reoccurring thought that's not going away and you don't even know why, so you're just going over your to-do list over it and over it, and you can't shut your brain off. Then you would write on the paper, obsessed about to-do list, and why, and is it too much, and do I even want to be doing this? And you start writing about this, and you'll start to see patterns. You'll start to see, things that come up to the surface, why these things are going on in your brain, why you can't stop this circular thinking about certain things. You might discover really deep traumas. You might discover, dreams that you have that you're afraid of doing, things that you're not expressing, love that you have that you haven't given, right? You're going to discover parts of yourself in this meditation and writing and reflecting and processing and discovering. But you must have a quiet place. So in regards to our health and our healing, during this time, you may get insights about your diet or your protocols or your supplements. You might get insights about your relationships, about your pain. You may get insights about your symptoms. You can't force these things. These aren't, I'm going to sit down and figure this out today. This isn't a puzzle that we're figuring out. This is free flow insights. When something's ready, it will rise to the surface, whether it's an insight or an idea or a direction that you need to go in for your health. When it's a trauma or a deep wound, it will rise when it's ready to be felt and seen and integrated. So giving yourself the space every day, an hour a day. If you can't find the time, then maybe you need to do this in blocks. If you can't give yourself an hour every day, right? If you just can't find that time in the day to get a quiet enough space, then maybe you need to say, okay, every week I'm going to block off 4 hours, a 4-hour block, right? And I'm going to sit for a half a day somewhere with nobody bothering me and nobody interrupting me, right? If you can't do that, then maybe you're going to do a retreat once a month and you're going to do a full 10-hour day, right? So it doesn't have to be. It is more worthwhile to do every day for at least an hour. But if you can, then you find a longer time to do it on the weekend. And if not, you find a huge block of time to do it every month. But if you're not giving yourself the time to stop the inputs, to be with yourself, to listen, to reflect, to get to know, to allow up, right? Things will at first may not come. But after a while, when your body's confident, it feels safe, and it knows that this is its time to express, the ideas will come. Maybe an idea how to fix your relationship. Maybe an idea what you want your future to look like. Maybe a seriously amazing insight about your trauma or your past or your protocols or your diet or your healing journey as a whole and the whole direction. You're going to have insights that are going to come up. They're going to rise. They're going to have the time, the breathing space to rise. We're going to be able to see, to look, to reflect, to listen, to write, to discover, to process, to integrate. This is what this time is about. Try it. I want you to try it today. I want you to get a pen, get a paper, do this exercise. This is an exercise to help heal chronic illness, okay? If you're not chronically ill and you stumbled upon this video, there are parts of your life that are maybe not what you want, right? The stress, you have a lot of stress, you have a lot of inputs. If you don't deal with this now, it could lead to an illness or chronic illness. So this is good for everyone, okay? This is good for everyone. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you got something out of it, and I really hope that you will try it, because if you do this consistently, day in, day out, give yourself that time and space, you will be so surprised as to what happens. You will be so surprised as to what heals, as to what's integrated, as to the new inspirations and directions for your life take shape. You will begin to know yourself and have time to really hear those inner feelings, thoughts, and emotions that with all these daily inputs, we just aren't getting the time to do. So again, I hope this video has been super helpful, and I will see you in the next video.